concept associated with mobile application development, and also we did some practical questions using Android Studio. In last week, finally we discussed about that means in lastly we discussed about layout. So under this layout, we were discussed about three types of layout: grid layout, linear layout, and the nested layout. So under this nested layout, so when we consider about this nested layout, we can add the layout within another layout. We can add different layout within another layouts. That sort of layouts are known as nested layout. So in this example, you can see this. There are many widgets components available in this UI. This is a one UI of your mobile application. So in this UI, you can see there are different types of widgets components. So we can arrange these widgets components under different layout to achieve more complicated appearance. So according to this example, you can see there are three layouts: outer layout, then the inner, there are two inner layouts, and this is the outer layout. So these widgets or widgets components are arranged based on two layouts plus two inner layout plus one outer layout. Likewise, we can define different kind of layouts within another layout. Such kind of things are known as nested layout. So this is an example for nested layout. So you can write by using this UI interface. So this is an interface. As an exercise, you need to write the layout Excel necessary to create this app, and you need to identify how many layouts can be used to create this type of interface. Okay, so in this case, I think yeah, in this case so let's consider linear layout. We already discussed about linear layout and the grid layout. So let's consider linear layout. By using this linear layout, by using linear layout, we are going to define a nested layout for this UI interface. Okay. In linear layout, there is a special characteristics. That means in this linear layout, we can arrange the wheels or widgets layout in single line. I think you remember it. In linear layout, you can see all the components can be arranged in horizontal or vertical line. So that means this layout widgets and the views are in single line. So in this example, you can see when consider about horizontally, we can define you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines available. That means single lines available. When consider about each and every single line, it is consist with different number of widget components. When we consider about line number 1, this one you can see it is consist with one button as B1. In single line 2, horizontal line 2, you can see there are 3 buttons as a B1, then the button number 3, B4, and in horizontal line number 3, you can see there is a button as I think it's B5. In number 4, you can see one button as number 5. Yeah, not 5, 6. In horizontal line 5, you can see there are two buttons available. Likewise, we can identify each and every components in this UI interface. Okay, so we can define, there are 5 lines with different number of buttons, so we can define two different that means we can define layout, that means layout with outer layout we can define. So when we consider about this line 1, line 3, line 4, line 3, 4 and 1, all these line only one components available, so we can take these 3 line into the outer layout and we can define another inner layout for this line and another inner layout for this line. So altogether there are 2 inner layout with outer layout. So there are, that means 2 inner layout plus 1 outer layout. Let's see. In this case, you can see this is the outer layout. Let's take its linear outer layout. Then like this one. This is the closing tag of this input tag. Then this is the linear outer layout closing tag. Within this one, we can define B1, then B5 and B6. So next we need to define the inner layout for these 3 buttons. That means line number 2, you can define an inner layout like inner layout. Within this inner layout, you can write these 3 buttons, B2, then the button number 3 and B4. And also we can define another layout as the inner layout. In this layout, you can define these 2 buttons as B7 and the button number 8. Likewise, we can define this layout, that means layout XML, by using 1 outer layout and 2 inner layout. That means you can define 2 layout within one single layout. Okay, so you can say this is the XML code. So in linear layout, you can see orientation. In last week, we were discussing about these properties, orientation, gravity, then the Android text, these properties. In last week, we were discussing about these properties. So you can see this is the, that means in this case, we consider about vertical orientation, then these are the gravity. So you can see this is the button 1. After button 1, it defines another inner layout. Within this layout, you can see B2, B3 and B4 like this. Then within this outer layout, you can see B5 and B6 again. Then you can define another linear layout for these 2 buttons as B7 and button number 8. Then you can close the outer layout. Okay. Likewise, we can define layout XML according to the arrangement of this interface. Okay. So you need to have an ability to develop this kind of XML code for given interface. Okay, I think it was clear. Do you have any questions about this nested layout? Nested means we can define or we can add different number of layout inside the another layout, or inside one layout we can define different inner layout. Okay, do you have any questions? You can drop a message if you have question. Okay, then I think no questions. Then let's move into the constraint layout. When we consider about this constraint layout, this is very important layout because in Android Studio, this is the default layout. When we consider about Android Studio, constraint layout is the default layout. Okay, so in this layout, I think you all can remember. I'm going to zoom this one. Okay, you can see in this layout, each widgets or waves are connected to another widget, so edges of the screen. Okay, like this. You can see the wait. This is very important feature in this constraint layout. All the widget components or the waves corners, that means all the widget components corner or waves corner are connected to other widgets or a wave, or it is connected to the edge of the screen like this. So in this case, you can see this is a, let's take this as a text wave. In this text wave, you can see it is connected to edges. So in this side, this is connected to this widget, edge. In this is connected to this edge, and this edge and this edge. Likewise, all the components are connected to other widgets or screen edges. Okay, so this is the main feature available with this constraint layout. Okay, so when we consider about this component or a view, it must have at least two constraints, horizontal and the vertical. So you can see one vertical line and the one horizontal line. So this is also very important. Every waves means widget, we can take it as a widgets also. Widgets component must have at least two constraints, one horizontal and one vertical. Okay. Then you can see so attached side of one widget to another side, that means attached side of one widget to side of another widgets can be defined considering horizontal side and vertical side. When we consider about horizontal, when we consider about vertical, you can see there are two sides as a left start and the right, left start and the right end. When we consider about horizontal way, you can see there are three as top, baseline and the bottom. So these are the edge connection. Like this. We can connect the components like this. Okay. This is the horizontal way. These are the vertical way. Okay, so when we consider about horizontal side, there are basically two as the left and the right. When we consider about vertical sides, there are three, top, bottom and the baseline. Likewise, we can define the properties of these widgets components in constraint layout. Okay, so this is about constraint layout. So in this chapter, we will discuss about different types of layout. Then let's move into the chapter number 3. So this is the chapter number 3 or a lecture number 3. In this lecture, we are going, that means in this chapter, we are going to discuss about Android widgets, then list adapters, and the event, and about file and storage, files and the storage. So these are the main things we are going to consider, we are going to discuss under this chapter 3. Okay, so when we consider about widgets, Android widgets, there are different types of widgets. There are different types of Android widgets are available in your Android Studio also. So you can see analog clock, button, checkbox, date picker, then the digital clock, edit text, gallery, image view button, then the map view, process bar, web view, time picker, text view, spinner, and the radio button. These are the most famous and the available Android widgets available in your Android Studio. We can use these Android widgets or we can use these components or views to build our user interfaces. Okay, so you can see. Let's move into. Let's take this one. Let's take like this. You can see these are the widgets available with this Android Studio. Image view button, then video view, calendar view, progress bar. So these are the available widgets in your. Okay, I think I didn't. When you are
Recording in progress.
creating your activity, you can add different kind of widgets. To add these widgets, you need to follow two steps. The first step is you can declare the widgets in your XML file like this. This layout. After that, you can define the XML code for that widget. So there are two steps. First one is you need to declare that means you need to declare the position of the widgets in your XML file. Then you need to add Java code to handle the event based on the requirements. That means, as an example, let's take this button. So you need to define the action for this button. That means event handler for this button. So when you are clicking this one, you need to go to this one, or likewise, you can define the activities or event handling for this event. So when you are defining or when you are adding the widgets into your XML, first you need to define the position of the widgets in your XML file, and also you need to add the event handling code to the Java code. Okay. So in this case, you can see this is the public class, this is the main activity, then this activity extend this compact activity, and you can define the different event handling Java code inside this main activity class. Okay, so these are the main things you need to consider when you are adding an widget into your UI. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? Or do you have any questions?
No, madam.
Okay. Then let's discuss about some widget components in details. First, we are going to discuss about button. I think you have many experience with this button when you are doing Visual Basic. I think Visual Programming and C++, Java. I think you have some experience with usage of this button when you are developing an application, that means desktop application. Now we are going to discuss about how you can use this button and the widgets to develop mobile applications. Okay, you have some, I know you have some experience, you have more experience with the desktop application development. So in this Android application also same case. Okay, so you can see the button widget like this. You can define a button. This is the button widgets. Under this button there are so many buttons as image button, checkbox, radio group, radio button, toggle button. Likewise, there are many buttons. So when we consider about this button widget, it's a widget with it's a clickable widgets with the text label. I think you all know This is when we consider about button, we can click on this button and we can move into another interface. So you can pop up any message by using this button. So this is a clickable widget with a label text. You label text label. You can say you can insert a label as button, then on next, then insert. Likewise, you can add any label according to your requirement. Okay. So there are many different properties available with this button. So the first one is clickable, Android clickable. So this clickable always that means this clickable describe the disability of it. That means uh, yeah, when you want to disable this one or when you want to enable your button, you can use this clickable event. So it describes the availability or unavailability of this button in your program. So clickable event is a boolean value. So this and that means this property is a boolean value. If this value is false, that means your button is disabled. If this clickable event is true, clickable property is true, your button is displayed. That means this is appeared, and in this case this button is disappeared. So by using this clickable, you can change the enability and disability of your button. Okay, then the next one is Android ID. By using this one, you can define an ID for your widgets. So this is a unique ID. You can use different unique ID. This unique ID is very valuable when you are using this ID within the Java code. Let's discuss this in this concept in detail when you are doing your practical session. Then the next one is on-click event. This is an event. So in this property, it describes the function. That means in this on-click, this when you are defining this one, this define the function to call inactive when button is clicked. That means, so in this on-click property, define which page you need to redirect when this button is clicked. Okay, that means when this one is clicked, what is the function it is needed to call. So you can define the function to call in activity when you need to click, when you are clicking this button. Okay, then the next one is Android.text. This is also a very important property. So you can input the text you need to display by using this Android text property. So under this button, we already discussed about four attributes or properties, clickable, ID, on click, and the text. When you are coding, you need to have some idea about what are the properties available in this widgets. Okay, I'm going to list this one first. Okay, so this is about XML layout. In these properties can be defined in XML. But you know, we need to define click event or an event handling in Java code. So you can see in this case, this is the Java code to get the button widgets. So you can define a button. This is the variable type button one. This is the name of the variable. Find view by ID. This is the function. This is very important function. So this button is, that means this find view by ID method is used to find the ID of this button. That means to locate the button with the ID. So you can see this is the ID. So you, by using this find view by ID, you can locate the button. So you can implement this code within your Java code in your Java program to get the button widgets. Okay. Okay. Do you have any questions about buttons? You can define button. This is the design view. This is the XML view, and also you need to develop a Java code for event handling. That means handling the button click event. Okay. So this is about button widget. Then let's move into text widgets. Let's create a new one first. Okay, in the text view, you can see text view. In last week also, we discussed about this text view. So text view is just like a label. I think you have some experience with label when you are doing visual programming. So this text view is just like a label. You can display non-editable text by using this text view. Okay. Okay. Going to, you can add under this text. You can add the text view. So just this is just like a label. You can use text view to define the non-editable string or a text. Okay. You can define the text view like this. Like this, you can use text view to define the non-editable text. So there are basically two properties available with this text view. The first one is ID, Android ID. So this ID is also a unique ID which can be used within your Java code. Then the Android.text, this is a string. Text means you can insert or you can declare the text you need to display. So these are the main key attributes available with this text field. You can see this is text field. Okay, so then there is a Java code. In this Java code, you can see text view text1. It's define a text view with text1 name. That means you define a text view as text1, and we are going to find the text view 1 which is in the designing phase by using this ID, and you in this code it declares the all the properties and the all the properties and the things in this text view into the text1 by using this code. This is just declaring values for this one by using this view, text view. So that now text1 is directly referred to text view 1. So then you can set the text1.set text to the change text. Okay, like this. As example, you can take this is the text view 1 in your XML or a designing. This is XML layout or XML code. Now we are going to use this one in the Java code. Now we are going to use this text v1 in your Java code. Okay. So in this case, in my Java code, I'm going to define a variable as text1, and I initialize value of this text view to this text1 variable. So we can take find view to direct the widgets components r.id.text view. Then you can write a code to, this is now text1 is variable text1 is initialized with this text v1. So text v1, so the text1 dot set text. This is a method. You can set the text according to your requirement. So this is very important. So this is about text widgets. We already discussed about two widgets. The first one is button widget. Then the next one is this, sorry, edit text. Yeah, text view. We already discussed about two widgets. Then let's move into the scroll view. So in this case, this is a container with scroll around another widgets or a container. You can see this scroller. Wait, scroll. You can find a scroll view. This is the scroll view like this. You can insert a scroll view into your design. So scroll view is a container with scroll bar around another widgets or a container. So these are the main properties. Only the ID, this is the main property. You can define the ID which can be used in Java code, and these are basic one layout height. This is about layout. So the scroll view is a container with scroll bar around another widgets or a container. Then the next one is edit text. In last week, in practical, we were discuss about this edit text. So this is we can use these widgets to input editable text. This is just like an input box. So this is a editable input box. Okay, you can input any values to this edit text field. So these are the key attributes available with this edit text. You can see, wait, edit. You can see edit text. Yeah, like this plain text. You can, this is a editable version. You can edit, user can edit any input to this field. Okay, so there are basically some key attributes available in this edit text. You can see ID. ID is used to define the unique ID. This is very valuable when you are writing Java code. Then the next one is hint. Android hint. Android hint, you can use this hint property or attribute to place a placeholder text shown before user types. That means you can see sometimes there are some gray color text before user type anything in this input box. So you can use this hint to place the gray hole text, that means gray placeholder text. Okay, then the input type. So this input type define what is the data type of this input box. That means what kind of input can be defined or a type within in this input box. Then the next one is lines. This line property, that means this attribute defines the number of visible lines of your input. Then Android max line. So this max line always define maximum line number of maximal lines allow user to type in this box. Then by using this text, you can input any initial text for your edit text field. So the default one is empty. Then by using this types in text size, you can define the font size of the edit text input box. Let's see. This is my edit text view. Yeah, edit text view. I'm going to delete this scroll. Okay. In this case, let's move into edit text. Before that, let's okay. You can see this is the name of the edit text field name. You can define any text for this one. Let's take as a height like this, and by using Android hint, you can define a hint like this. Enter your name. Okay. And also by using these lines, you can define number of visible lines for the input. And by using this input type, you can define what kind of input, that means what kind of input can be typed in this edit text fields, and also font size by using text size. Okay. In this case, I define two Android.text attribute and Android.hint attribute. I'm going to run this one. It takes some time. Till it load. Let's see how you can use this Java code to get the edit text widgets. So how you can use this edit text field within the Java code. In this example also there is edit text ID. This is the ID of this edit text, and you are going to assign the value of this edit text into edit text, that means edit text one variable. You are going to assign the value of this edit text to this edit text one, which is declared in your Java code. This is the data type. Then you are going to take the value of this edit text. That means when displaying this, user need to input, this is the input box, so user makes different input. So you can take this input by using get text method. So this is the variable name edit text dot get text. We can assign this text or an input into a variable called as value. This is a string variable. Okay, you can see this is the this is the input of this one. Okay. Wait. Let's remove this one first. Then you can see. Okay. By using get text, you can get the user input and you need to assign this input value into a string variable. I think it is clear. Do you have any question or is this clear? Yeah, you can see enter your name in gray color. You can enter your name. By using this hint, property, you can give a hint for your user to what kind of data or what is the data you need to input for this text field. So in this case, it's a name. Okay. Likewise, you can input you can define any input types based on your requirements. Okay. Is it clear? Do you have any questions?
No, madam.
Okay. Then let's move into next widget component or a next widgets. It's a image view. Okay, in this image view, you can insert, that means you can display an image without being clickable. That means you can just display the image without any clickable event. Okay, so this image view, this is also available. Wait. Grid view, layout, containers, then layout, widgets. Yeah, this is the image view. You can input the image your project based on your requirement by using this image view. Okay. So in this case, these are the attributes these are the attributes available with the image view. Keep in mind, image view is just a display. Image view can be used to display an image without being any clickable event. So you can see there are 5 properties. The first one is same as the previous one, ID. You can use this ID for using Java code. Then the next one is android.src. So this is the place where that means this defines the place where the image is available. That means image location. By using this src, we can give the image location or the path to image. So in next one, content description. So in this case, you can define a text to describe this image for blind users. And by using the Android tag, you can add the text tag to associate with this image. And also by using this scale type, you can cause the image to grow or string. This can be center crop, fit, center likewise. Okay. So in this case, mainly keep in mind how to define the location for the image as well as ID. So these two are the main important things available in this image view. Okay, so image view is view, just a display view which is used to display an image without any clickable event. So this is the Java code. You can see image view. Within this Java code, you can write the image view variable, that this is the data type, and image 1 is the variable name, and you can assign or you can refer image 1 by using this variable. Then you can define send item resources. You can give the path of the file, that means part of the image content folder, are drawable. This is the folder and this is the file name. Likewise, you can insert the image view into your application. Then the next one is checkbox. So this is the individual checkbox is like this. You can check the values. You can define checkbox to like like this. Let's take, I'm going to find here hobbies. You can define hobbies. There are many hobbies. We can define each and every hobbies by using checkbox. Listening to music, reading, watching television, collecting a stamp, gardening. Likewise, you can check your hobbies by using this checkbox. This is a toggleable boolean on-off checkbox. Okay, you can toggle. So in this case also, we can define many attributes associated with checkbox. The first one is ID. As same as previous case, ID can be used to define the user ID, and that means unique ID, that means unique user ID for this field, and we can use this ID within our Java code. Then the next one is checked. By using this one, we can indicate whether the checkbox is initially checked or not. This is also a Boolean value. That means you can insert true or false for this attribute. So by using this check attribute, you can define whether the box is initially checked or not. Okay. So the default one is false. That means not checked. If you need to check the first one, when the user interface running, you can make this as true. Then the next one is clickable. That means by using this clickable, you can mention the disability or enability of your checkbox. This is also a Boolean value. You can insert true and false value for this property. Then the next one is on click. In this case, it declares which function you need to redirect or direct when you click on the checkbox. Okay, so on click, always define the function to call in activity when clicked. Then the next one is text. By using this text, you can define the text to put the next to the checkbox. Okay, that means you can define this text by using this Android text property. So if you need to define reading next to this checkbox, you can define it like Android text. Let's take this as text, then you can define it like reading, like this. Okay, so these are the main available features in this checkbox, main available attributes in the checkbox. Okay, so in this case also in Java code, we can define different types of functionalities based on our requirements. In this case, you can see check. This is the variable, and we assign this or by using this check variable, we refer to checkbox one, which is in XML code. By using this one, you can toggle the checkbox by using toggle method. Then the next one is switch. You can see checkbox. You can see this is the switch. This is the switch and this is the checkbox. This is the checkbox. Let's move into design. Is this checkbox? Okay. You can insert checkbox and just read it like this. Okay, in the signing view, you can see this is the checkbox. This is the switch. Okay, we discuss about switch first. Before this, let's have this first. Okay. Under this switch, it's the individual toggleable Boolean on or off switch. There are two modes as on and off. That means switch can, when we are discussing about normal switch, it's also have two status, as it also consists with two status, on state and switch off state. In this switch also, it is consists with two status, on state and the off state. So by using this, you can use this switch to define different key attribute with basically two status. So in this case, we can see there are 6 main attributes, that means key attribute in XML. First one is ID. By using this Android.id, you can define a unique ID for your switch, and we can use this unique ID within our Java code. Then the next one is text on. By using this text on facility, that means by using this text on attribute, you can show the text to, that means text to show that next to on side. That means you can define, by using this text on, you can define the text which you need to show when the switch is in on a state. By using the text off, you can define text you need to display when this button in switch off status. By using text on, you need to define, you can define a text to show when this button is in switch on, switch status. By using text off, you can define a text to show when this button is in switch off status. Okay, so these are the main two attributes. Then the next one is show text, whether to show the text on L and R side. Default one is false. Then the next one is on click. In this case, you can define a function which is needed to call in the activity when this switch is clicked. Then the next one is text to put the left side next to the switch. That means this is the switch now. This is text you need to put in this side. Okay. Let's see in this switch. Before that, I already run this one. This is the checkbox. You can check your box like this. This is the switch. There are two status, on the status and off the status. This is off one and this is on one. Okay. Okay. You can see this is the text. Sorry, this is a switch. Let's see this as okay. And text. Text. Sorry. Text on. You can define the colors. Let's run this one. Okay, so you can see, you can define a variable with switch data types, and you can refer the switch one which is in XML by using this SW. That means you can assign the value of this switch one into this SW variable. After that, you can write your code according to your requirements. Okay. This you can define switch. Okay. Then the next one is radio button. This is also very important when we are talking about buttons. Before that, do you have any questions? I will give you 2 minutes. Please go through this lecture note and check whether you can understand. Do you have any questions? Any unclear thing?
No, madam.
Okay, then let's move into radio button. This is also very important type of button, radio button. When we consider about radio button, I think you have many experience when you are filling online things and when you are dealing with different kind of desktop application as well as when you are dealing with mobile application. I think you have some experience with this radio button. So like this, we can define a radio button to define the sex, female, then the male. This is also a toggable, that means on or off switch. And in this case also we can define the ID by using this ID. We can, that means by using this ID, we can give the unique ID for our attribute or a field. Then we can use this ID fields when we are dealing with Java code. Then the next one is Android dot colon, sorry, not dot, Android colon checked. This is also a Boolean value, that means true or false. So by using this checked one, we can indicate whether the button is initially checked or not. Mostly default one is false. So by using this check property, we can indicate whether this button is initially checked or not. Then the next one is clickable. By using this clickable property, we can set the disability and enability of our button. So the default one is true. You can set it to false. At that time, the button is disabled from the, that means from our UI. Then the next one is on click. This on click is always to handle the event. So in this on click, we can define the function which needed to call when you are clicking this radio button. And the next one is text. By using this text field, you can display the text which is next to the button. Okay, so these are the main key attributes available with this radio button. Okay, so when we are define this type of radio buttons, you need to nested these two buttons into a single group as a radio group within your XML code. When you are defining, I think this practice is available with visual programming also. Yeah, visual programming. When you are developing desktop app based on visual programming, then the C++, Java, all these things. So we need to group these buttons. So to group this button, we use radio group tag within the XML code. Okay. So, and also there is a very important feature available with this radio button when we are grouping these two. As example, we are group these two radio button as a one radio group. We can only select one item at a time. That means, as an example, let's take 3 radio button, A1, then the A2 and the A3. Let's arrange them as a one radio group as radio group 1. So in this radio group 1, you can only select one item at a time. So this is very important when consider about radio buttons as a radio group. So the items, that means radio buttons available in the radio group, when we consider about buttons available in radio group, when you are selecting this button, you can select only one button per time. Okay, this is very important when talking about radio button. Then the next one is image button. So this is also a clickable widget, so with an image label. That means let's take a button like this. You insert some image as a label of this button. So let's take this as a image like this. This is a button with the image label. This is also a clickable component. Okay, in this case you can see there are 4 properties as clickable, then the ID, on click, and SRC. Clickable is used to define the disability and the enability of this button, and by using the ID you can define the unique ID for this Java code. Then the next one is on click. By using this on click is basically for event handling. So by using this on click, you can define a function to call in the activity when this attribute is clicked or when this field is clicked. Then the next one is SRC. Always this defines the place where your image is available. That means location of your image. Okay, so these are the main key attributes available in the XML when considering about image button. Okay, so when we consider about this image button, that means image button means this is a button with the image label. So you need to insert an image for this button. So this image can be saved in different 2 places in your Android project. The first one, that means image resources, can be within in 2 folders. The first one is project folder, app, then sr, main, rest, drawable. So if you need to add an image to image label, that means image button to your project, you need to insert image into this drawable folder. Let's see. Yeah, this one. You can move to the project, then app. Yeah, under this, not build. Yes. Yeah, you can see under this app, you can see RES. Under this RES, so you can see this drawable. You can insert image into this folder. Otherwise, you can insert into drawable HDPI folder if this image is very large. If this one is small, that means you are going to insert image number 1. If this is with the small size, you can insert it into this drawable folder. Otherwise, you can insert into this drawable access DPI folder. This is available with the project view. This one, I think. Yeah, under this one, you can see drawable and also drawable HTTP or DDPI and access HDPI. Access HDPI. This is the form. Yeah, you can insert into this folder. Likewise, there are two places to insert these images based on the size of the image. Then the next one is list view. This is also very important. By using this list view, you can define an ordered collection of selectable choice. That means you can insert ordered collection of selectable items or a choice by using this list view. This is also available. Text, 200 text. Oh. Yeah, this is the list view. By using this list view, you can insert ordered selected item list. Okay. Okay. So in this list view, you can see ID same as previous cases. Unique ID. We can use this unique ID to refer the widgets in Java code and Android clickable event and Android clickable event. So by using this one, you can define the disability and the that means disable and the enable of the button, so list view. Then by using these entries, you can define the entries as a array. That means so you can define this. This is under the array class. That means array folder. So you can define the set of choices by using this entries. That means this is just like a list. You can insert your choices as a list by using this Android colon entries. Okay, so by using these entries, you can define a set of choices a person can look at on a view. Okay. We already inserted. This is the view. Then you can define Android entries for your list view Android. Then entries. Like this, you can define entries for your list view. Then the next one is spinner. Yeah, for that, then the means I. In this case also, that list. In this spinner, you can see this is a drop down list. This is just like a drop down list. I think you have some experience with drop down list. In this case, we can use, we can select any number of items from this drop down list. That means, let's take this as colors. You can select more than one colors, red, blue, like this. You can select more than one items from the drop down list. So there are 4 basic components available with this drop down list. Properties available with this drop down menu. So this spinner can be used to define a drop down menu for the selected choice. There are basically 4 attributes. The first one is ID, same as previous case. You can use the unique ID to identify the component in uniquely. Then the next one is clickable. By using this one, you can define the enability and the disability of your spinner. Then the next one is entry. By using this one, you can insert the choices or a list of entries that means list of entries in your drop down menu. Then the next one is prompt. By using this one, you can give the title text when the dialog of choice pop up. Okay, so by using this kind of codes, you can handle this event. Okay, so these are the main things. Before starting list, let's move into some practical question from your practical guide. Before that, do you have any question? Do you have any questions? No one in the class? කවුරුත් නැද්ද ක්ලාස් එකේ? මං විතර තනියෙන් කියවනවද?
නමෙද
Then let's move into our practical guide. So these are the main widgets. I think now you have some clear idea about what are the widgets and what are the widgets available in the Android Studio and how we can use, what are the purpose and what are the purpose of this Android Studio, that means widgets. As an example, let's take what are the fields, or what is the scenario, what is the scenario, and how we can use these things. Likewise, I think you have some clear idea about widgets components. Let's use these widgets to build our that means build our applications. මම හිතනවා දැන් මම widgets ගැන කතා කරා, මොනවාද තියෙන widgets radio button ඊළඟ image button likewise. එතකොට අපිට දැන් idea එකක් තියෙනවා මොනවාද මේ වගේ තියෙන purpose එක කොයි වගේ වෙලාවටද අපිට use කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. අපි දැන් යමු කොහොමද මේවා use කරගෙන application එකක් develop කරන්න කියලා. Okay, so let's move into practical guide. Third practical guide. Before this one, I think there are some remaining question in practical guide 2. First, let's discuss remaining question. After that, let's move into practical guide number 3. Okay, in last week, I think මට මතක නෑ කොහෙන්ද නැවතුනේ කියලා. ඔයාලට මතකද නැවතුනේ කොහෙන්ද කියලා? Did we try this one? ඔයාලට මතකද ගිය සතියේ ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් ගයිඩ් එකේ නැවතුනේ කොයි හරියෙන්ද කියලා? Anyone? How many questions? I think, yeah, wait. Someone else. From question number 25. Okay. Okay. Copy the background image. Didn't we discuss this one? Let's open our project. Project first. Wait, in last week, I think it's a design interface or something. Open the project. Yeah, design interface. Let's open this one in this video. This window in this one last week. Let's run this first. Wait. Sorry. Clean this first. Clean the project. Then you can rebuild. Sorry, it's a blank. You can rebuild the project. Okay, then you can run this application. It takes some time. Do you have any lectures after this one? 3:50, do you have any lectures? Oh, 30 you have. Okay, then I think let's start from. Yes, madam, have software. 4:30 or 3:50. Software tech, software department. Yeah. Common lecture 4:30. Common lecture, I think 4:30. Cloud computing for network students. Okay. Okay. In question number 25, yeah, this one, bold and all those things. In question number 26, you need to insert a background image for your application. So to add this one, you can just let's take available one. Okay. No need to input new one. Let's take available one. So you need to define this image property. So this is a background image. So you need to insert this within your layout. Okay, so these are the components. Text view, then the edit text button. These are the components in your layout. You need to insert these things into the main layout. So this is a constraint layout. In few minutes ago, we discussed about constraint layout. This is the default layout available in Android application, that means Android Studio. So in this case, all the components are consist with some connection to the nearest widget. So the edge of the screen. So in this case, you need to define from this Android one. This is the opening, this is the close, I think. Yeah. So within this tag, you need to define the background image. Okay. So this background image is for all, that means whole screen. So you need to define it within your layout. Okay. So Android by using the Android, you can take background. So let's take this one. It is available in drawable folder. This is the name of the background image. Then let's run this one. So you need to insert within this layout tag. Okay, so this is your layout tag. Android support constraint layout. This is the layout tag. You can run this first. Okay, let's see. You can see this is the background image of your. You have network programming with network programming. Surang, this is one. Okay, so you can see you can insert background image to your application by declaring background feature or property within your layout tag. Okay, so likewise you can insert any background. Before inserting background, you can insert that background image into this folder. After that, you can insert it into your wait. Okay, you can say okay. Likewise, you can insert any background image for your application. The next part is how you can disable. That means how you can set your background of your button in transparent way. So in this case, you can define this Android.background. That means Android background properties, and you can declare this property as transparent. Let's copy this one and paste. So already 314. No? Wait, let's try this one and finish that. Okay, let's see the output. You can see the button is, that means appearance is transparent of this button. That means we set it as transparency. Wait, network programming is in your old timetable, no? In new one, I think we don't have any lecture at 3:50. ඔයාලගේ current timetable එකේ නේද 3:15ට network programming තියෙන්නේ. මට නිලන්ත සර් කිව්ව විදිහට නම් 3:15ට lecture එකක් නැහැ. ඕක උදාහරණ බලමු network students 4:15 හරි 4:30 නම් ඔයාලට තියෙනවා මොකද්ද net cloud programming මම කියන්නේ කවුද මේ network students network students ලා නැද්ද? දැන්ම leave වෙලාද? hello
hello madam.
network programming වල නැහැ නේද lecture එකක් අද?
ඔව් madam මේ දාලා තිබුණා මේ ඒක සිකුරාදාට shift කරා කියලා. හරි madam.
හරි හරි. අපි මේ practical guide එක ඉවර කරලා ඉමු අද නැත්නම් ගොඩ ගැහෙනවා. කියන්නේ මේවා වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි මේ practical guide එක කොහොම හරි ඉවර කරලා lecture එක නවත්තමු. Okay, let's try to finish this practical guide today. Because I want to give you an assignment, so for that I need to finish this one today. So you can make your button transparent by using this Android background property, and you can set it as a transparent. Then the next one is how you can create another XML file within this project. Okay, so when you are dealing with different interface, that means if you need to build all project, you need to use different kind of user interface. So in this project, only one user interface. By using this main.activity Java and the activity main XML, if you need to insert many interfaces, you need to define relevant XML file. So in this case, in this 32, question number 32, we are going to define a new user interface as interface 2 by using your layout XML file. Okay, to achieve this one, you can define it new XML file by using this layout folder. Just click on this one, right click, not left click, just right click on this layout. Then you can select the new. Then you can see there are many available components. Under these components, you can choose this Excel. So by using this Excel, after selecting this XML, you can see there are 3 types of XML files: app action, layout XML, and the value XML. You can select this layout XML file. Then let's give the name as interface 2. Let's copy this. Don't copy like me, just type. Name of the layout file is not the set value resource area. See, there is a space. You can remove this space. Then the layout file is interface 2. Okay, that is a issue. Yeah, it's start with simple like this. Then you can click on finish button. So this is our new XML interface 2. This is the way to create new XML file. You can just click on the layout, then new. After that, you can select the XML. After that, you can select the layout XML file. Okay, like by using this pathway, you can define new XML file. Okay, then you can create a color variable in this color.xml file. So if you need to create new string variable, you can use a string.xml file. If you need to create new color variable or a variable, if you need to create new color variable, you can use colors.xml file. So in this case, these files are available under the value category, that means value folder. You can just simply click on this value. Then you can see there are three types of XML. One XML file is to define your string, one is define your styles and the colors. So just click on the colors.xml and you can define the colors. So there are three colors already declared in, that means initialized in this file. So I'm going to create new color. So just copy paste this one, color name my color. This is the color. You can define your required color like this, just using a color tag. Open tag, then the close tag. Within these two, you can define the color code of your preference color. You can see this is just like a, I think it's yellow, yeah, not a yellow or orange color. So in this color tag, it is for green, this is for, I think it's dark green, this is a pink, and this is yellow color. Okay, like this, you can define your color by using color XML file. Okay, then you can move to your new XML file interface 2, and you can set the background color by referring this my color variable. Okay, let's move into interface 2, then the text view. And I'm going to define the background color within the layout. Okay, wait, please give me 1 second. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, you can see now we are going to set the color. Android, then background. You can define color, then the variable name is my color. Like this, you can define the color variable. Okay, in the layout tag. So this is in color XML. You can see it's a orange, not orange or yellow color. Okay. Now you already did this one, set the background color reference to my color variable. Then you need to run and find which interface open as a default interface. Okay, let's see what is, we already defined two XML file, activity underscore main XML and the interface XML. Let's see what is the default one in this project. Okay, let's run this one first. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, so the default one is activity.main XML. That means this is the default one. So if you need to change this default one into interface to XML, the next task is to set the interface to as the default interface and run the application. So if you need to run interface 2 as the default one, you need to change default interface. To change the default interface, main executable file is main activity.java. In this case, you can see it's always running this activity underscore main. If you need to change this into interface 2, you can change like interface 2. Now the default one is interface 2. Let's see. You can see this is the default one. We only set the background color of the new interface. You can see this is the default one. Okay, this is the end of practical guide 2. Do you have any questions? If you have any question, now is time to ask question. You can raise your questions. Okay. Okay, I will upload these things. Okay, I'm a little bit busy these days with your semester resource finalization and with new 20 batch semester process. With those things, I'm a little bit busy. I will upload all these things. Okay, let's share these things. Wait, I'm going to upload lecture note 3. I already discussed lecture note 3, no? This one. Okay. You can download lecture note 3 from the chat. And I think,
Excuse me, madam.
yes.
If you can you please upload into the Google Classroom, because
Okay, I will upload.
if we are in mobile, we cannot see the file in Zoom chat.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Things to Google.
Okay, madam. Okay.
I think no questions. You need lecture note 2. Wait. Lecture note, this one. Okay. I think no question. Then let's discuss practical guide 3 in next day. So it's wind up for today. Thank you.